how do you feel about the concept of nation state reserves?
Well, I think it's good for the nation state. I don't know if it's necessarily good for Bitcoin. It's probably good for Bitcoin holders in the moment that the Bitcoin is bought. But like, if this ends up just being digital gold, I think it's failed. I don't think it has a life. If it ends up being a currency that people can use on a daily basis, then it's succeeded. You have to go back to the white paper. This is P2P electronic cash, and we have not realized that yet. And that's why I'm in it. I'm not in it to create digital gold and just watch a number go up. Like, I want to be able to use it. I want everyone in the world to not have to ask for permission to move money, and to have to ask their bank whether they can deposit something or withdraw. Um, and I don't know. Like, it's if we don't achieve that, like, to me, it's a failed project, and we should move on to something else.
What would stop it from being used from payments at this point? Or what would relegate it to just being digital gold in your opinion?
Well, no one uses it as payments. Like, that's it. And if it's not if it's not accessible in that sense, like, if people don't understand how to use it as payments, if it's not easy, if merchants aren't accepting it, all these things will compound into people just not seeing it as relevant money, and instead of just being this digital gold rock.
Do you think that it's a lack of development? Because we have things like Lightning and Fedi and other kind of layer two, more payments focused protocols that live on top of the Bitcoin base layer. But is it more of a it needs to be used question to you, or do you still think that there's far more to build?
There's always more to build. I just think it's not accessible to people. Number one issue is, like, people don't have Bitcoin, and they have no reason to buy it other than the investment value. Number two is, when they have Bitcoin, where can they actually use it if they can use it? So there's a lot of chicken and egg problems, and I think many of them are being worked on. But ultimately, it has to come down to the fact that, like, people value this thing for a reason, and they want to use it. So I do think, obviously, I think the investment vehicle is a good first step. We built a Cash App, we built the Bitcoin exchange in the Cash App for that very purpose, because it's the fastest and easiest way to get people access to Bitcoin. But the next step is the hard one, which is, like, how do they utilize it? Instead of just, like, watching it go up and down, how do they actually use it to exchange value? And how does that benefit, like, a merchant? How does it benefit an individual? So that's what we're focused on now.
I think one of the big underlooked things to get Bitcoin to be used as a currency, as a medium of exchange, is the merchants accepting Bitcoin. If more people preferred Bitcoin, accepted Bitcoin, and offered discounts for people when they paid in Bitcoin, then that would give users more of an incentive to get Bitcoin and use it as payment. Because, like Jack said, right now, the only thing you buy Bitcoin for is to watch the value go up, right? There's no use for it. Well, it's going to take all of us Bitcoiners, people that want Bitcoin, to say, hey, I have a product or service. I prefer being paid in Bitcoin. Pay me in Bitcoin. And guess what? I'll give you a steep discount, 20%, 30%. If you pay in Bitcoin, you can save 20%, 25%. That's a big deal. That will incentivize people to go buy Bitcoin and use Bitcoin because they're saving 25%, right? Sounds pretty good to me. So that's one way. I'm sure there's other ways, but that's a big thing. I think it's overlooked. Nobody talks about it. And I think that's a good place to start. So I guess I got to get on and create a product or service so I can start accepting Bitcoin.